Hi everyone, it's Autumn here with Black Spring. I'd just like to tell everyone about a new project that I'm working on. It's kind of an extension of my project here. I'm working on a new podcast project where you can find me on Podbean. Podbean is actually an app. I will be streaming segments and episodes, of course, featuring um, things that are kind of centered around uh, a sovereign discovery zone, a platform that advocates and also acknowledges our sovereignty based on the founding principles of our nation, as well as, of course, there will be, conservative and constitutional types of references there. And I welcome everyone there, whether you're a patriot, because of course, um, with the kind of cultural and um, the cultural warfare that we're in, civil warfare that we're in right now, it's nice to have those discussions, and it's nice to have those, the voices, and to be aware of those things. And um, there we will be discussing, of course, like this first segment is going to cover somewhat of the UN. Of course, here I've covered many things as to, the threat of sovereignty that not only do we face as Americans, but also the implications worldwide of what a one world government would mean, what it would mean to our inalienable rights as American citizens, of course, like our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, of course, the right to protect our borders. Also, in fact, I think there's some language in that USMCA that they might take a closer look at, because there are protections and union type, clauses in that particular document that protects, illegal, immigrants or illegal aliens, whatever phrase you like to coin for that. Also, there's also, I think there's like a limited, there's no limit of how many illegal aliens can be hired by an employer. There's just many language, there's, many things to take a look at there in terms of, infringing upon our sovereignties. Most people don't realize that that the Constitution is actually a contract between our employees, which are the senators, the congressmen, the president. They are not to infringe upon our God-given rights, our inalienable rights, our human rights, our natural rights. They are not to infringe upon these things. Most people don't realize that there are things that they're allowed to do within the Constitution, and there's things that they're not. And we've seen many violations, specifically dealing with this very communist style impeachment inquiry. Very egregious and very disconcerting for the nation as a whole. But the Podbean cast will be covering, the first segment will be kind of a weekend review, and also in that we will discuss the infancy of the United Nations, what its infancy, its founding, what their objective or what their missions are, what they were, and the whole the effect of this Agenda 2030, as well as we've talked about. We've referenced the Migration Compact here, and as you can see, a response, the Democrats' response to, or the globalist response to our President Donald Trump not signing that compact. You witnessed the invasion of the border, the south border, by the influence of NGOs, that kind of a bit. So the Podbean cast will be covering those topics, as well as of course, is also current events. Of course, the impeachment inquiry, the upgrade, of course, of the investigation, that kind of a thing. So, if you would join me there, you would find, you have a Podbean cast, in which, of course, you can subscribe, follow, that kind of thing. There's lots of ways to support there, and I hope to see you all there. And thanks so much again for supporting me here on Black Spring, and I hope to see you soon. It won't be a stranger.